So what I would like to show you is a day in the life of my Schoology. This is what I do when I come in. This is how I organize some things. And then I'll go through kind of the more specific topics that Josh was looking to go over. I am not a Schoology pro by any means. I am, though, a Schoology advocate. So if you have a problem with it, I try and figure it out if I don't know what it already is. So when I log into Schoology, I land on the same page you guys do, the updates, right? These are all of the updates that I've happened to do for my classes. You might not have very many here. You might only see the school ones. If you've never done an update, then you're not going to see any. I want to show you how I use updates, and Minnie and I have kind of talked about this before, so she has a little bit of a preview. So what I do when I'm ready to start a day for a course and I know I need to put materials in, I'll just go to my course. So I'm going to pick Course 1, and even down to this is pretty handy for me. I created images, and I put a 1, a 3, and a 4, 5 right in the picture. So it's color-coded for me, and I can just see it, so it's easier for me to click on. So I'm not reading those annoying things all day. Even a distinctive picture might be useful. So I click on Section 1, and I'm ready to kind of go about my day. I have my students land on the updates page because I use it all. I'm going to start using it every single day. Your students, what they see when they first log into a course is probably materials. You can make this change, and I can show you how to do that later. Let me, again, talk about how I use it, and you can decide if that's something that'll work for you. So even if we land on materials, I have individual folders, and I like to practice what I call folderception, right? If you're familiar with the movie Inception, folders inside of folders, I like to over-organize because I think it's useful. So I go unit by unit, and here at the top I have resources that are available for students and for parents, and I color-coded it separate so they, hey, this folder's different. So let me just pull up my current unit, digital media. And when I'm ready to insert an assignment, I go into that folder, and then I create the material that I want to make. That way it's not getting lost, I don't have a giant list of things, and it helps me stay a little more organized. I put whatever I want to put in here. Here we have some key terms. Here we have a quiz. This particular quiz, I did not count for a grade. It was kind of a pre-quiz. What do you already know? Hint, it's not very much. And then we go through a discussion that I did, a video that I've put in, and so this is just kind of how I've organized one unit, and it builds and it builds and it builds as it goes. All of my courses that are the same have all of the same folders. As I create an assignment in this folder, when I'm ready and I've got it kind of polished up, I will click my little gear, and I will copy it then to my course that it needs to go to, and into the appropriate folder that would match. I am actually I'm still only in materials, and I'm still only inside that folder. I haven't left my course. Yep, exactly. So I would copy it to my other classes that I teach. Yep. And what I'm going to do at the end of every quarter, and this was Josh's suggestion last week, is back up to my resources and just kind of keep that in the upper level cloud area. So that's one. Again, just an example of how I organize my units. And now I'll show you what I do with my updates. So on my updates page, and again, this is where every student comes in, this is where they land, and I've been trying to do a really good job of using these updates every day. In the past, I would come in on the board, and I'd write my agenda, and this is what we plan on doing today. I've moved that to Schoology. My students now, I don't want to call it an instinct yet, I just made this change last week. I don't put the agenda on the board anymore. Now I've moved that agenda into my updates, and above that, as you can tell, I'll scroll down to a couple days ago and last week, I put my I can statements in my updates. So my update for the day starts with my I can statement, is followed by my agenda for the day. Now I don't include links to assignments and things there because they know how to navigate back to materials still. And any assignments that they have up and coming show up right here. So I read the update, I see what I'm doing. Oh, okay, I'm doing the copyrights and wrongs quiz today. Copyrights and wrongs quiz. It's right there. They don't have to leave the page. They don't have to jump around. One thing that I'm sending into Schoology, and I apologize for jumping around a little, Josh and I talked about this. We'd really love to see a no submitted area for a student. So I have not made a submission on, and then this list of assignments. Because when a due date comes, even if they haven't submitted an assignment, if you haven't noticed, they disappear. So if you're like me and you put some extra assignments up, and hey, this one's coming up, even if they don't make a submission, it disappears right off that upcoming list. Not upcoming anymore. So I'm going to make that suggestion to Schoology this week. Anyway, so that's kind of a little bit of how I use it on a daily basis. Just kind of a look at. I tell my students not to email me directly, and the reason is I have all of my students' emails filtered into one folder. I don't always look at that folder. It pops up for me to tell me there's a message, but I say, send me a message through Schoology, because that will come directly to my inbox. And it's kind of a double alert. So if I'm on Schoology, I have a message, I need to check it. Schoology then also, I have my notification set to send me an email only when I receive messages. Just some thoughts.
What I don't like about Schoology email is that it doesn't go to that parent's email. It goes to Schoology.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So I never know where it's going.
With parents, I strictly email. Yeah, I do a direct email to parents. But with students, the way I have it filtered, because I said at Perrysburg students, and the reason for that is all of their Google things that they would share with you come through their email. And so I did a whole bunch of Google sharing in the first 2 weeks without Schoology, and I was bombarded and flooded with like 200 emails, in a short span of time. And I said, I got to filter these out. So it was just filling up my inbox, and I filtered those out, similar to what we did with classifieds and that kind of thing. So anyway, again, a day in the life of my Schoology, and I'm going to stop that and start